What's up, guys? Welcome back to the stream. It is what, Wednesday afternoon? Alrighty. Basically, first thing I want to talk about, I am moving out of my apartment pretty much within the next couple weeks. And pretty much what I did this morning, I moved the television that was in my apartment to my bedroom at my parents' house. And pretty much, I haven't had a TV in here, a TV with working TV with working Roku with like Netflix and Hulu and stuff in here since pretty much since 2019. So pretty much 7 years. So last night before I moved the TV, is it like the flat screen? It wasn't 55 inch, wasn't as heavy as I expected it to be. So easy for me to move. Anyway. I'm about to like initiate here and watch something on this TV for the first time. It's Breaking Bad, season 5, episode 1. I really like that episode. Live free or die, which is the motto of New Hampshire. Gosh dang. Anyway, before I watch that, yeah, the reason this is important to me is because I'm remembering how pretty much 7 years ago this time when I was starting my second year of college and I wasn't living in the dorms anymore in State Street of Chicago. I was commuting from home, and anyway, that means like that summer as I was getting used to the home environment vibe of coming back home and smoking and shit. I don't remember much of what I was doing in 2019 outside of school. I was pretty depressed at the time, but anyway, like having the TV in my room for like coming home after school and just all the work experiences in that 7 years and all the stuff since then, Yeah, so having a TV in my room again, it's like just everything is since the past 7 years. It's crazy. Just to put it simply, it's a lot, but to put it simply, it's like that feeling of coming home after a day of school and you're depressed or heartbroken about something during this months of life or whatever. And yeah, you just come home back to your bedroom, take a few hits of the pen and just unwind and watch TV, whatever I was watching back then, like Dave Chappelle, rewatching How I Met Your Mother. I can't remember what else, but yeah, just remembering what fall 2019 watch time was like. Rewatching the movie Eight and a Half, then a lot of movies in film class, like Midnight Cowboy, pretty decent movie. What else did we watch? We watched Do the Right Thing. Yeah, man. So yeah, and that being said, too, I've been very like good at taking breaks, like not watching that many new movies, honestly. Uh, Anyway, I do want to make a video reviewing movies, maybe talking about top 5 best movie scenes I've seen this year, like top 10 that could be. Yeah. Did I talk about Big Fat Liar? I like that movie. I watched it back in March. Other than that, it's kind of hard for me to remember the other movies I said that I've enjoyed this year. I think I've already talked about it, and I don't want to really repeat myself with movies I've already mentioned, like Rosemary's Baby or Sicario. Uh, Other than that, yeah, it's hard to think of anyway. So, of course, Breaking Bad has been a good go-to this year. Rewatching it after 4 years of giving it a break and watching it since 2013. So anyway, guys, yes, this is kind of how you blur the lines, as I've said before, between passive engagement versus active engagement. I'm not in school currently, but what's important as I'm in this transformational sort of month, I guess, where I'm moving out of that apartment. What was nice about it, the way it was set up, I had my editing computer, then I had my TV on the other side of the room, then I had the back of the wall with the camera is for me to record my content, like reviews. So I pretty much was able to set it up as an environment like a studio for me to work and do my thing in that filming and editing that I dropped classes for this last semester so that I could do this work, and it was so worth it. So I'm gonna have to treat my parents basement like that when I'm living back here at home for the next couple months whenever me and my parents find an affordable apartment again. But yeah, definitely treating it how I've been treating the apartment, where it's that studio type of setup, was absolutely crucial, and that's part of the reason I'm filming this out loud, so I can remember to at least write that down. I'm pretty good about writing out these sort of top five things of rotations of things, as any good advice of video maker. What am I trying to say? Tons of content creators will give you this similar advice to write it down, organize those goals for the environment, for your workspace. It's the same framework of advice that different people will reiterate in different ways. It's really smart for anyone to do. So that's what I'm going to make sure to do, as I've been doing. You guys saw the post-its in the apartment. I have to take those down. And I have to do that in my basement. Really have to, because that's what was keeping me in a routine. It really was. Otherwise, what? If I feel like if I don't do that, if I don't put up a post-it on the wall or a piece of paper in within eye view in the basement or in my bedroom, now that I'll have to be living here pretty soon in the next few days, I won't, it'll be harder for me to jump into that routine, and I might waste time doing nothing, which is the absolute last thing I want. But acknowledging that is a little important. I acknowledge how when I come back to this house, my parents' house, there's that sort of lack. I barely feel like working out. And I've been working out, been consistent with it every day. But I notice when I'm in my basement, mostly because it's cold, it has to be pretty cold, chilly in here, because it's been very humid this summer outside. So anyway, the working out aspect, yeah, it's been way easier to work out in my apartment. But now that I think of it and say that out loud, my room is relatively warm. I could work out in here when I need to. Yeah. So really, this is what talking about all this has been about today, is making sure when I have to stay here, um, that I'm treating this environment like the 9 to 5 sort of editing filming that I've wanted for myself for years and years. Cause yeah, otherwise, yeah. It does stay in my head, it does stay in my conscious and subconscious that I should be getting this work done. It's just yeah. Anyway, the next sort of business to talk about is the work that I've been doing outlining. Oh man, last night, this is such good news. Pretty much last night, I finished outlining within 25 minutes, outlining the next short film. I don't have a good title for it yet, and I'm not even gonna bother myself with trying to force myself to cling to obsess over a title, because I will like try to like think of a title and I'll think about it too much to where I'm like, oh, this is too quirky. I don't even want to make this title anymore because of the title. So I'm not even gonna think about it like as untitled for now. I already said the other title ideas I had previously for it were parameters, don't squander your essence. What other title ideas did I have? I had like two other good title ideas. I'm sorry for forgetting. Um, it was originally called Sixth Grade, but no. Pransketball is another good title. Um, yeah, but yeah. Anyway, long story short, right now the thing that it needs, for the I have a separate document with the lines of dialogue. The dialogue is pretty good, but it needs, I think, I'm gonna film it. It might not need it, but I'm gonna film it for the sake of making sure the audience understands the premise, is the whole purpose, that this dialogue that I'm thinking of is important. Pretty much side interviews, like I did with the Febreze Coke woman, as I did with my neighborhood friends videos back in the day when we made them 10 years ago, 9 years ago. Side interviews, like The Office does. Not necessarily inspired by The Office, more inspired by Trailer Park Boys, even Modern Family. So the side interview moments. And I just thought of an interesting line that might pertain. Um, Trying to not think of the first instinctive idea, trying to let this idea develop. The first line idea for the side interview for me is me going, "Oh, it's cool to see that perfectionism isn't real." Like something like that, basically to explain something real. I'm trying to be real here. Be like, it's the consistency of sticking to editing that's been making me pretty happy. So a line like that, cool to see perfectionism isn't real anymore. And maybe not even anymore. With all this output of editing, I'm glad to see perfectionism isn't real. See, that's my second instinct of what the line should sound like. That sounds a little bit better. I just forgot what I just said. With all this editing output, it's great to see that perfectionism isn't real. I kind of like that. But it's just, it might be too me. It might be too me, you know? Back 2 years ago when I was living in this bedroom, and the vibe of me that was just getting too crazy, I guess, smoking too much, and then those vices kind of leading me to be more angry. And what I've worked on myself with that horrible, dangerous behavior since those 2 years, it's like that's quite the jump from the second line of dialogue that I was thinking of. But the point is, don't trust your first or second ideas. Let the idea develop. All right. So the foundation of the idea is basically a line about how I've been consistent with editing, and I don't need to really make that more unique than it needs to be. Doesn't do I? With all this output of editing, it's great to see that perfectionism isn't real. It's like pretty simple. It's deliverable. I'm gonna write that down. I believe in that line. Yeah, it's pretty simple. The lines of dialogue I have so far. Let me go back and read them for just another minute. Alrighty, done looking at that outline for now. I like how the inspiration, where it started from imaginativeness wise, with ideas like Squidward from Clarinet Land, if you guys know that SpongeBob episode, using something like that to spark inspiration, Squidward and Clarinet Land, as well as Computer Nerd One. Do you guys remember that guy? He made like funny Mad Lib type of like parody songs of 2010s, late 20s, 2000s songs. They were so funny and random. So just random like random things like that literally for sparking inspiration, and now knowing the like tangible things to go do. And the tangible thing is does include me going out and printing something and trying to make stop motion. So pretty much I have to pose. If I want to do dance moves in stop motion, I have to be sure that I'm moving a little bit slowly so that I can get the right screen captures and print those out. And that's something very much I think is worth investing my time in the next month, 2 months. And outside of that, Tintin review, Michael Jackson review, and we got then a couple of unique videos. One history of the Time War, and then Breaking Bad scene recreation. And that's is that all the videos that I have planned? Pretty much almost. The short film, the scene recreation, the Time War video, and then Tintin and Michael Jackson. And that's pretty much it for this year. Yeah, guys. Yeah, guys. All right, guys. That's pretty much I was gonna say that's all the topics of conversation that I have to say, but it's been like what 2 weeks since I've streamed, and so I do write things down that I would like to talk about for stream. So I do believe in my ideas here. Let me bring up my notes real quick. All right, what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I'm really glad I've been able to implement some healthy things as a bedtime routine. What that means is, not being on autopilot. That has led me to feeling depressed or feeling like I can't control my thoughts or can't control my circumstance sometimes. That's pretty general and vague, but all that comes with is with something like a bedtime routine, which just means to me just thinking a little bit more mindfully. It's not complicated at all. So what that has entailed a little bit, I think in the previous stream I talked about listening to some classical music. You guys know how there's lots of frequency music. I typically was not listening to like the classical music study ones. I was listening to more the ambient hertz ones, sound healing frequencies. But now I like the classical music ones. I was missing out for years. The Mozart ones that are like good for studying. So listening to Mozart is part of my bedtime routine. And then a little bit of Disney Plus. What that means is watching a little bit of Emperor's New Grove after a few years. So that was pretty entertaining. And then watching a little bit of Princess and the Frog. Some parts of that movie pretty entertaining. I'm not a huge fan of kids movies at this point that much, other than the ones that I found nostalgic as a kid. And it really makes me think like what older adults, what the kids shows from their times looked like. But I wouldn't review them because I review stuff that I have seen since I was a kid mostly. Anyway, you guys know the show Big Mouth on Netflix? Yeah, I was watching that after years. At a certain point, it got kind of trashy, but for me, but back in 2018, when I was in 12th grade and 11th grade, I think it was a pretty entertaining show at that time. So I watched like one or two episodes from the new season, and it was all right. But it's been a few days, so just a simple show like that. Um, I was rewatching a Marilyn Monroe documentary on Tubi. It's called Marilyn Declassified, about the crazy circumstances around her death, how she could have been like a national security issue, uh, and was being misdiagnosed and stuff because of her involvement with the Kennedys. So I liked that was my vibe 5 years ago. I was revisiting it because I want that vibe again, kind of for the sort of thriller genre. If I'm going for that at times, yeah. And then yeah, music like Laura Bergman, and then we have some Doctor Who. As I was watching yesterday, I was watching Underworld. What a bad episode! Mildly entertaining. Episode two, I think no, episode three was I think the best part actually. And then I also watched what's it called? Revenge of the Cybermen. I have a crazy relationship with that story. I could do a whole review on those two stories that I just talked about for a Doctor Who fight. And yeah, man, like just developing taste like I'm back in like I'm back in middle school, like I'm back in. I do want to say I had better taste, distincter, developing taste by middle school compared to high school. High school, my taste was kind of stonery. Anyway, um, oh man, I was gonna order Pizza Hut, but for some reason it's closed. Anyway, that's okay. I have a couple of tacos downstairs, and yeah, I have my audiobooks to listen to, bit of reading, and a couple of moments that I get to shoot, dancing with my tripod for the short film. I'm really excited to get this done. And yeah, I'm gonna try my best to step outside for more stuff. Alrighty, guys. Um, this was cool. This was a good check-in. I think I know the stuff to the bedtime routine that I can add that wouldn't be distracting or, you know, make me on autopilot. And yeah, I'm gonna watch TV for the rest of the day and kind of be on autopilot, but also not too distracted. But that's my way of rewarding myself, I guess, on a Wednesday for moving my TV and finishing my outline and figuring out the videos that I'm gonna complete for the rest of the year. I'll do a little bit of working out too, 10 minutes or so that I'm not being too much of a lazy crap hole. I am good at my job, I think, my editing and production work, you know. But don't get too cocky. It's all about putting in the work and remaining happy as well. They don't need to be mutually exclusive, but yeah, I'm really grateful for all the things that I've been doing, how things have been lining up for me, how videos have been lining up for me. Like I said, the history of the Time War and the Breaking Bad scene recreations are the only two videos this year that are like out of the box ideas. The rest, two reviews, only two other reviews. Is that it? Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, guys. It was good checking in with you. Stay tuned for more.